made us killers. Well, who made you killers? I'm sure the Arabs, whether they are Muslims or Christian, did not make the Jews killers. Maybe the Nazis do, but that's another issue. Therefore, I think we need really to think deep about justice, avoid self-justification, self-righteousness, and be honest about all of this. Doesn't mean that we should despair. Doesn't mean that we should despair. I really believe there is a solution for the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, which is a binational state, a state for two people, one state for two people, different languages, different religion, democratic state. And some American Jewish intellectual actually asked for that, like Tony Jordan from University of New York and others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, presenters. Very candid and I think very spiritual, uplifting, and honest statements. I'd like to make an observation from the perspective of the academic study of religion. And not as although I am a Jew and a practicing rabbi, I'm speaking in my voice now as an academic. When a Jew or a Christian observes a Muslim speak about Islam's great love for peace, at some point, Jews and Christians tend to feel, what's the real story, you know? I think when a Christian or a Muslim hears a Jew speak about Judaism's great love for peace, and they think about the Israel-Palestinian conflict, they're saying, well, come on, let's be honest. And when a Jew and a Muslim observes a Christian doing the same thing, they look at the Christian wars and the Crusades and they say, come on, let's tell the truth. So I think there is a natural kind of suspicion that is not because there's dishonesty. All three religions, I think, teach that the greatest value of religion is peace and human solidarity. But now, if you look at religion from the social science perspective, from the perspective of history, you observe that what religion really expresses, what it articulates, is how it behaves in history. So the truth of religion actually engages. The truth of religion is that religion engages in war and engages in peace when the religious communities consider it advantageous for the religious community to engage in war or to engage in peace. This is the historical reality, I think, of the relationship. So, Islam, both Islam and Judaism, emerged into history essentially as warrior religions because violence was considered A, necessary, and B, effective in order to achieve what was necessary for the community to survive. Later, when it was considered to be counterproductive, war was ceased, in effect, as part of the public policy of religion in the world. It was stopped. When war was considered to be advantageous or necessary for the community, it was reinvigorated. Christianity, on the other hand, began as a quietistic religion, not warrior at all, because it was the only means, I think, as a historian, to survive under the powerful military rule of Rome. But when Christianity inherited the power and might and military of the Roman Empire, it also found a way to justify mass violence and engage in war. Ultimately, however, war is always a failure. It always fails to secure the needs of the community. At some point, it causes terrible destruction to the community that a generation earlier found it effective. And so we as religious people, and as people who represent our religious traditions, need to teach to our politicians and to our children and to our religious leaders and to all of the secular people with whom we interact that there are other means that are more effective and more consistent to realize the goals that we need to realize in order to be protected as religious communities. I think only in this way will we determine or demonstrate that war is no longer an option for religious communities. Just something to think about.
Thank you. We'll take one more further, and then we're going to allow the members of the panel to give a couple of minutes each of their reflections and response.
شكرا حضرة الرئيس. تم التطرق إلى موضوع فرسان مالطا، وعلى قدر ما أعرف فرسان مالطا يعملون في مجال الإغاثة الإنسانية. الذي يمكن أن نعمله هو أن نوصل هذا الصوت إلى فرسان مالطا في روما ونسأل ما الذي قالوه أو ما الذي يعملوه في العراق، ويمكن أن يوجه هذا الجواب إلى رئيس مجلس الحوار، لأنها ليست المرة الأولى التي يتطرق فيها إلى الموضوع. ثانيا، الموقف المسيحي من حرب العراق لا يمثله على الأقل بالنسبة للكاثوليك لا يمثله الرئيس بوش، إنما يمثله قداسة البابا الراحل يوحنا بولس الثاني، الذي باعتقادي لم يقم أحد مثله في عمل كل ما يمكن لتجنب هذه الحرب. ثالثا، المطران ساكو مجاهد من أجل السلام، وخاصة في مدينة كركوك. وهذه السنة أيضا بمناسبة شهر الصوم عند المسلمين رمضان نظم حفل إفطار، ودعا إليه الكثير من رجال الدين الإسلامي والمسيحي ومن المسلمين من سنة وشيعة، وأصدروا معا نداء من أجل السلام ومن أجل إنهاء العنف. علنا نتفق على أن أفضل وسيلة لمحاربة الحرب هي العمل على أن لا تنشب هذه الحروب وعلى بناء ثقافة السلام. أما عن المسيحية كحركة كويتست كما تفضل الحاخام، فهذا كلام لا يعبر عن إنجيل السيد المسيح. فالمسيحي هو على مثال السيد المسيح باني سلام من خلال مقاومة العنف وعدم الرد على العنف بالعنف، إنما الرد على العنف بالمسالمة والمحبة والتسامح، ومع الحفاظ على حق الدفاع عن النفس. شكرا.
Thank you very much. And now we are going to conclude with reflections, for very short reflections or responses by the members of the panel. Professor Eisen.
I wanted to respond to this gentleman's remarks. I don't know your name, so I disagree with you on the issue of justice and mercy, justice and love. I believe you have to have justice and love together, and that's something we may want to talk about. Your observation about Jews, the fact that Jews are taking out their injustices, the injustices that have been done to them, they are now taking out on another people. Personally, I agree with you. In other words, I think that when Jews came to Palestine, their anger against the non-Jewish world, which had been growing for centuries, was taken out on Palestinians. But I want you to consider something. I often, in my discussions with Muslims and in the dialogues that I've participated in, I've often compared the Jewish people to an abused child. And if you abuse a child, abuse them over a period of many years, what does the child do? The child becomes angry. The child becomes violent. And that child will express that violence and anger against the people who did the child harm. That child will express its anger against people who didn't do the child harm. They will even express their anger against people who try to love them. And in fact, what's interesting in psychology is that sometimes the worst anger, an abused child will act in a very angry way. But ultimately, what does that child need? That child does need love. That child does need mercy, does need acceptance. For Jews who were in the position as victims, they didn't differentiate. Arabs, Nazis, they were all the same. It's the non-Jew who hates the Jew and has always hated the Jew. The way I think to bring about, I realize that we all have to look at ourselves and say, what have we done wrong? I will just give a suggestion to my Muslim brothers and friends here. That one way to deal with the abused child here, the Jew, is to embrace them, to express love towards them. I think it's hard for you to imagine in the Muslim world the extent to which that would make a huge difference. If you express your love towards Jews and their acceptance as a people with a sovereignty, I think the situation would change dramatically. If you keep beating the child will simply strike back.
I think what
Dr. Isaac just responded with now could be true for the Palestinian people as well. Now, you see, we have to really be honest and true to that. And you see, what I want to say that what you have presented needs to be really discussed in details. You have given a certificate of innocence to Zionism, which I don't think that we can accept. You have then to go the same way you went through the story of 3,000 years ago about Zionism until you reach to the state of Israel. You have to see how the Palestinians look at their situation and how Islam see that as well. And there was no real justice done into that. And I believe, since you mentioned Hamas and Hezbollah, I think that exactly Hamas and Hezbollah came because of that abuse, because of that mistreatment, because of the oppression, because of the occupation, and because of depriving the Palestinians their own rights of a homeland. And I think one has to see also the psychology of the Palestinian people when you come to speak about their rights. So many of us look at Hamas and at Hezbollah as resistance movements, people who are, fighting for the rights of the Palestinians. And of course, here we must really, I agree fully with what you have said concerning religion and God. And I think that one should really go into dialogue. And here I am responding to what you have said. Now, Bishop Sacco is really saying the minimum. But Bishop Sacco, of course, in the past, our friend here, he has given a wonderful example how the people of Iraq used to be and how they used to meet together. But then, things got worse, not because of dialogue, but because of a reaction to what is happening in the world and making us differ from each other. And here I must say that dialogue is a necessity. And what the Arab Group for Christian-Muslim Dialogue says, and I will say that into Arabic, that dialogue is a necessity. I will say it in Arabic, sorry. الحوار ضرورة تقتضيها متطلبات العيش الواحد والمصالح الوطنية الواحدة والتفاعل الاجتماعي البناء بين أبناء الوطن الواحد، وهو أيضا مطلب روحي وأخلاقي وثقافي يتوجه مبدأ التعارف التبادل بين المؤمنين، وهذا من شأنه أن يسهم في ترسيخ قيم الاحترام المتبادل وتمتين أواصر المودة وتصويب الصور المشوهة أو الخاطئة التي تؤدي إلى التفاضل والمخاوف المتبادلة. وشكرا.
دقيقة سأمارس فيها حقي في التعليق على مداخلة روبرت أيزن. وفي الحقيقة رأيت أن مداخلته اعتمد في الحقيقة منهجا انتقائيا بالأساس، بمعنى أنه تحدث عن علاقة المسلمين باليهود من خلال نماذج ربما قد تكون مطلقة ولم يقف عند تجارب أخرى قد تبدو أو قد تؤدي إلى نتائج عكسية، من بينها ما ذكره الدكتور مثلا بغداد، أو خاصة وأقول خاصة الأندلس، لأن الأندلس كانت فضاء رحبا لتعاون إسلامي يهودي، بل نجد يهودا وصلوا إلى مناصب كبرى سياسية وعلمية إلى غير ذلك. بالنسبة لما تفضل به الدكتور حول ملاحظة تتعلق بعلاقة الدين بالممارسة الاجتماعية، في الحقيقة هو طرح طرحا أكاديميا علميا هو موجود، ويرى أن الدين يعرف من خلال ممارسة الناس، ولكن فقط أقول أننا عندما نجد رجلا انتهك القانون واقترف جريمة فإننا لا نلوم القانون بل نلوم الرجل، والقانون يظل دائما قانون. هكذا أفهم المسألة. ورجل القانون ليس هو المعني الوحيد بالقانون، كذلك رجل الدين، لأن السيد ركز على رجال الدين. رجل الدين ليس الممثل الوحيد للدين، لأن الدين مشغل ثقافي بالأساس، هو يهم الجميع، يهم رجال الدين ورجال الدين وغير رجال الدين، يهم الأكاديمي والطالب والمثقف والعامل والفلاح والتلميذ إلى غير ذلك. فنحن أرى أنه لابد أن نخلص وأن نحرر الدين من هذه الوصاية ومن هذا البعد التمثيلي. ولذلك قلت منذ البداية أنني أبارك ما فعله مركز الدوحة لحوار الأديان عندما أزال كلمة مسلم أو مسيح أو يهودي من أمام المتقدم، لأن فيه بعدا تمثيليا قد يحول دون حوار حقيقي. وأذكر تجربة رائدة في هذا المجال، أعتقد أن الأغلب الحاضرين يعرفونها، هي تجربة جريك، جروب دو ريشيرش إسلامو كريتيان، فريق الحوار الإسلامي المسيحي الذي تأسس في تونس والآن له عدة فروع في باريس وفي بيروت وفي برشلونة إلى غير ذلك. وهو أول مبدأ قام عليه هذا الفريق هو كسر التمثيلية، بمعنى أنه لا نجد شخص يمثل دين، كل شخص بإمكانه يتحدث عن دين. أنا كان بودي في هذا الحوار مثلا أن نجد يهوديا يتحدث عن الإسلام، أو أن نجد مسيحيا يتحدث عن اليهودية، أو أن نجد مسلما يتحدث عن اليهودية. لماذا لا؟ لماذا ربما هذا الحصر؟ لذلك قلت أن من الأفضل أن نحرر هذا الدين إذن من هذه الوصاية الضيقة. وشكرا.
I want to thank each one of the presenters and all of you, and I want to say that I have been coming here, and I'm very grateful for being coming here for a few years. I found that this session was among the most honest, respectful. This is a model for how we can address very difficult, very deep, difficult, painful issues with dignity, with treating each other with respect, with even while we disagree very deeply about some of these things. But I think there is here a desire to transcend the difference and to find common ground, which I find exemplary. So I am very grateful for having reached this moment. After a number of years, I think this was one of the best constructive sessions. And I want to bless us all, that God will bless us, the Almighty will bless us with the ability and the courage to take all of our longings for peace and for dialogue and for advancing the causes which each of us care so much about, that we will be able to translate those longings into reality soon for all of us, for our peoples, for our nations, and for a better world. Thank you very much.